Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first launch of a new series that I'm doing here on my YouTube channel. Um, and it's going to be modeling all of the active and current missions that we are able to see and get good information on um, in real time. So the plan, as of right now, if it all works out, is to build a model of the launch vehicle, of the satellite, the whole works. If we're launching more than one satellite, we will launch more than one satellite, etc., etc. Um, and we're going to do a premiere of that video about an hour to 45 minutes before the actual launch time. Now, if that launch time ends up being 2 or 3 in the morning my time, we're going to just push that back and we'll upload it at my regular upload time, which is typically 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So, yeah, that's basically what I'm telling you. So today we are modeling the launch of CRS-17, which is SpaceX's launch that will be going to the International Space Station on the commercial resupply contract. It will be the 16th functional resupply. It'll be a Dragon capsule, of course, on top of a Falcon 9. We'll be carrying 4,200 kilograms, or about 9,300 pounds, of food, clothes, provisions, crew provisions, and experiments to the International Space Station. Now, of course, the Falcon 9 will be returning. Typically, it returns to the first stage booster, returns and lands at the launch pads at the Kerbal Space Program, at the Kennedy Space Center. However, recently, within this last week, SpaceX was getting ready for its in-flight crew abort test, and they had a catastrophic failure of the test, and they exploded the Dragon capsule on the landing pad. So they're probably not going to use that, and instead they're going to put a drone ship on the ocean just barely outside of the where they typically return to land, so they don't have to change their launch and return profile too much for this adjustment, although they will have to do a little bit different math. Now, I was a little bit worried on time because I've been spending this whole week building the International Space Station so I could do this launch, and because of that, I haven't had a lot of time to test and get used to flying this Falcon 9. So would be launching this Falcon 9 today in fully expendable mode. Now, when I typically do the rest of these videos for this series, we're going to try to model the launch as closely as possible, and so we will be landing the first stage in future missions. But just for this specific mission, we were going to just ditch that first stage just to make sure that I could get this video out on Tuesday. I have to upload videos not at my house because the uptime of my internet at my house is absolutely abysmal, and for a simple 30-minute or 18-minute video takes about 24 hours to upload, and so I have to prepare these videos ahead of time and upload them at a different location. So of course this is assuming that the launch goes as expected, which I expect it to, but the mission that I upload obviously may be very different than the mission that actually occurs, just because things happen in space is hard. Now let's talk about the mods that I'm using in Kerbal Space Program right now real quick to get it out of the way so I don't have to talk about them in future videos. I'm using the reusability pack. That's what gives me the nice Dragon capsule, the Draco thrusters, that trunk section, those fins. Also gives me the landing legs and the grid fins, a whole bunch of nice, very useful things. The other mod I'm using is station parts. It's stock alike station parts is the mod. Really good looking mods. That's what I use to build the International Space Station. I want to keep the mod list as small as I can, just so if you guys want to do the same missions or do the same profile, we can do that. Also, if anybody's interested in a craft file, just let me know. Leave a comment down below and I can link you the craft file through a workshop. So here we go with our circularization burn of our upper stage of the Falcon 9. Gonna get it nice up into a good orbit. Also, while we're launching here to the International Space Station, we are going to be doing the crew rotations and all of the visiting ships to the station also. So today and this launch, we will not see those at the space station because this is actually the first thing we've launched to our space station. Um, but in the future, we will have the Progress resupply capsules there. We will have the Soyuz vehicles there. We will have, right now, there's a Cygnus craft that's docked. We will get all of those at the station, and they will all be there with the correct number of Kerbals or astronauts at the station. And so we're gonna model this as close to real life as we can, and we're gonna see how long we can keep this going and how many things we gotta put in space. Maybe we'll just do it for a year in one save, and then in the next year we'll do all of the launches for the next year or something, but maybe keep the space station there so we keep the crew rotations going. I'm not really sure exactly where we're going to go with this, but for right now we're going to model all of these missions as closely as we can and have some fun with it. So if you have any questions about a specific launch or specific mission or why we did something or how we do something, just let me know down in the comments and I will read those and get back to you as soon as I can. So we will be um, docking today on the uh, Zenith. Nope, I'm looking through the mission profile right now, so I don't tell you guys wrong. We will be berthing. So in Kerbal Space Program, there's not a good berthing mod that I have found. So we'll be docking, but in real life, they'll be berthing. And the difference there is minimal, but it actually makes a big difference. So if you berth the spacecraft to the space station, you come up really close, and then you stop and wait. And then the space station itself reaches out with an arm, grabs onto an attachment point, and then the arm pulls the craft in and attaches itself to it. It's called berthing. If the vehicle docks to the space station, that's where the vehicle, under its own power and guidance, actually comes in and attaches itself to the station. Um, so the Dragon capsule berths, the Crew Dragon capsule docks. This is a model of the Crew Dragon capsule, just for sake of simplicity. And there's not really very many good non-Crew Dragon models out there, as far as being able to model it very well in KSP. So this is a good looking model. We're just going to go with that. Just moving some fuel around from the trunk section. Of course, the trunk section of the Cargo Dragon is unpressurized, so SpaceX is able to take up pressurized cargo and unpressurized cargo with it. Notably, they took up the Bigelow Space module science demonstration in their trunk, in the trunk of the Dragon. Um, but right now we just have some extra fuel because, again, I didn't have enough time to do a lot of testing on this, and I don't really know the capabilities of it, and I'm probably going to have to do some tweaking with how our fuel supply and fuel loads and stuff, and we'll get all of the details ironed out. I just really wanted to get this video ready so that I could definitely make it an upload for Tuesday, which is the launch of CRS-17, which is when this video will be airing. Also, at the time of recording, the new Avengers Endgame movie is coming out, which is why I need to finish this up and get ready for uploads. So I just simply don't have enough time to do this as well as I would like to today. But it's going to get there, and it'll be out there, and it'll be good enough. So just working on getting our intercept with the International Space Station. I decided to make it really hard on myself apparently, and I launched at a very bad time. Got up into the inclination of the space station, but because of my orbit and the space station's orbit, it made getting an intercept really hard. I could have got a really good intercept in about 5 orbits, but I didn't want to wait that long, so I forced my hand. Just did 2 maneuvers. One maneuver to get close, the second maneuver to get us there a lot quicker. So as you can see there, we're just getting a pretty good intercept, and we're going to go and do those maneuvers. So we will be docking to the Harmony module on the Nadir side, which is the bottom. Now, of course, there is no up, down, forward, or back in space, but there has to be, right? Because our simple human minds just don't quite understand exactly how we would be talking without it. So we will be docking to the Harmony module on the Nadir docking port. There's our first intersect here, doing pretty good. Now, if you're not familiar with the Dragon capsule, the Crew Dragon capsule, you'll notice I put a bunch of solar panels on one side, and on the other side we have radiators. Now, unfortunately, there wasn't a model that just had this integrated, so I did the best that I could with the stock parts, and I put solar panels on one side and radiators on the other. In real life, your solar panels need to be pointed towards the sun, and your radiators need to be pointed away from the sun or on an angle of the sun. We'll be talking about this later while I do the construction of the International Space Station as part of this series. That's the other thing I forgot to talk about. So we're launching the International Space Station, which is nearly completed. For the reasons talked about before, as far as time goes today, I don't know if I will have time to complete the space station today, which is okay because most of the parts are there. I am missing two modules, and that's all. One of the modules is very important as it contains a docking port, which currently has a Soyuz dock to it. But if that doesn't get on today, that will be okay, and it also does not affect the CRS-17 mission that we're doing. Um, so I will get the International Space Station completed. But in the meantime, as of tomorrow, I had some other videos scheduled, but I've pushed those off for later dates. So um, today is CRS-17. Tomorrow is me launching the very first component of the International Space Station and talking about that. I started with the solar panels, which is not how the International Space Station started, but I just wanted to get started as quickly as I could, and I was worried about the long truss sections, and I wanted to see if it was going to be possible to do it. And so that's why I started there. Of course, all of that's talked about tomorrow. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, probably Tuesday of next week, are all going to be videos of the construction of the International Space Station. So if you want to see that, make sure you tune back in tomorrow, hit the subscribe, like button, leave comments if you have questions or concerns or anything like that. Leave them down below. I'll be checking those and seeing what we're interested in and any input that you guys have. On this series and any suggestions or any specific upcoming missions you guys are excited about to see, just to have me model in Kerbal Space Program. So here we go, coming in now, getting pretty close to the station. Just take some time, get close. We don't want to go slamming in there and break apart our brand new, beautiful looking station, nearly complete station. And of course, the actual time from launch to dock is about 2 days. Takes about a 2-day trip to get to the space station. Um, they can get there faster. In fact, this year we saw the fastest rendezvous with the space station only took about 4 hours. Which personally, if I was crammed into a tiny Soyuz with 3 other people, I would be very happy to get there in 4 hours. Um, but that's just something they've just barely started to do, is these rapid intercepts for crewed missions, which is be a lot better to go. Now coming up here, we have a very near miss, as I decided to go ahead and make this approach in the dark. We nearly took out a solar panel. There's our station. We'll go through all these components and what parts they are and what launched them and where they're going and what they do during the construction video. But for now, and you'll see we are missing, in this view, you could see we were missing the Bigelow space uh, technology demonstration capsule. And then over on the other side, we are missing a Russian module. They will be launched at a later date. It's the mini research module on the Russian segment of the space station we're missing, and the Bigelow expandable activity module on the US segment that we are missing. But other than that and all of the visiting crews, like I said, there are currently some visiting crews up there at the space station, and we are missing those also. Um, Let me review my notes so I can tell you exactly what's up there. Right now we have Soyuz MS-11 that is docked, Progress 72, Progress 71, Soyuz MS-12 and a Cygnus 11 that is currently docked to the station. And as of Tuesday, that's when CRS-17 will launch, and then we will have the Soyuz there also. We will get the other vehicles launched very soon. And of course, in CRS-17, the capsule would come up to a point a little bit closer here, and then we'll stop, and the Canada arm will reach out, grab it, and move it into place. But we will be docking today, as I mentioned before. Just grab a quick save real quick, in case things decide to go really bad. Getting closer, making sure everything's lined up. Get oriented correctly. There we go. And we have dock of Dragon, CRS-17. Welcome to the space station. We will stay here for a number of days in the hundreds. I'm not exactly sure when, but we will be covering the when this vessel leaves. So I hope you enjoy. Come back tomorrow and I will show you how we built this station. Thank you.